CARRION is an exploration puzzle game where you try and escape an underground facility after being held captive for an undisclosed amount of time. You'll get upgrades as you go to help you progress through the different parts of the underground labyrinth, and fight for your survival as you try to escape. Oh, but also you're a horrifying disaster of tendrils and madness. If you've ever played Inside, and I highly recommend that you do before I spoil the best part of it, you play as a child attempting to escape an organisation trying to capture him for reasons. It's a great little 2D puzzle platformer with all sorts of different themes and theories surrounding the nature of what exactly is going on. Sombre and melancholy, but beautiful, blending harsh tension, increasingly difficult puzzle solving, and stunning visuals through its monochromatic lens. Then at the end, you become a giant glob monster that obliterates everything, and it's incredible. It's the last 5 minutes of the game, and really leaves a lasting impression, and more than that, has you wishing that you could play more of being a giant ball of nightmare fuel. That's what CARRION is, a fully fledged game where you play as mass tentacled murder. So even though I deceived you in the beginning, everything I said was true. You've been held captive for a certain amount of time, and you decide to break out, pretty easily actually, and then you're off. Taking control of this monstrous symbiote, you fly through tunnels and down shafts, and when it's time to come face to face with your captors... oh Jesus. People stand zero chance. They'll only serve to feed you so you can become even bigger. As you go on, you'll also upgrade your abilities with these biocontainers, which also means you'll be able to access areas you weren't able to before. It's basically a Metroidvania, the most messed up Metroidvania you'll ever play. These upgrades also give you the potential to become even more of a colossal devouring jumbo, in case you were wondering. While very satisfying being the eater of worlds, your size will affect your movement, as it can be easy to lose track of where the monster begins and ends. This is fine for the most part, as it would probably be very hard to move around as a mammoth of flesh. But later on, when there are obstacles that could kill you immediately, you'll notice it start to get in the way a bit, but only slightly, and it doesn't completely ruin your terrifying exploits. Some of the abilities you'll use to torment the souls of these halls are taking control of hosts and making them pull switches, or kill their mates. A giant web you can use to stick people to the walls so you can take your time eating the poor bastard. Turning invisible to bypass certain areas that are blocked off with sensors, or stealthing your way into a good position before you can start the munching. There are also optional upgrades around that you can use to give you extra limbs, meaning instead of bludgeoning someone with one computer, you can bludgeon them with several. Because you don't have to eat the poor buggers, you can grab anything around you and use it to bash Greg and his pals into dust. Then eat them. Your abilities also change with your size, with some of the abilities I mentioned earlier only being available when you're at your smallest. When you get a bit bigger, you can charge and smash your way into rooms and or people, and when you get yourself to peak chunkiness, you'll get spiky stabbing daggers to stab and rip people in twain. But the game isn't just about growing into the most immense nightmare you can, since the puzzles you'll be solving will need different abilities for different situations, meaning you'll have to dump your biomass in select areas to change what you're capable of. As you progress deeper and deeper into the halls that progressively get more and more filled with corpses, the enemies themselves will get harder. So while it was fun charging into a room and letting tendrils fly without caution, you'll find yourself being a little more sneaky and devious. It's a welcome addition by the time it comes, as nonchalantly consuming a room full of people, believe it or not, does start to wear a bit thin. Only a bit though. It's still very fun. Soldiers with laser shields, machine guns and flamethrowers will replace the more docile civilians, and you'll also see yourself fighting your way around drones, a sphere of guns, and a mech. Stupid mechs. You'll quickly find that you're not at all impervious, and in fact can actually be killed pretty fast if you're not careful. So be sneaky, think things through, and you'll be a safe and horrifying ball of globby pain. The story is also a little lacking, and while I'm totally into environmental storytelling that some games go for, this seems to not be able to make its mind up, as they go as far as to have flashbacks to a possible origin of the discovery of the beast, but there's also only 3, and they don't really give you as big a picture as you'd like, and probably could have done with 2 or so more. Ambiguity is fine, but it's at its best when it's committed to fully. CARRION story feels like it falls a little flat, as it almost gives you enough to be invested in what you think might be a clear picture, but stops short of taking you all the way there. Basically, it goes halfway between an ambiguous story you have to piece together yourself with clues hidden in the world, and a story that is telling you. leaving everything a bit muddled. The strength is clearly in the destruction and cathartic chaos you invoke as Dr. Octopus gone wrong. And while I definitely recommend multiple sit-downs to alleviate the novelty of playing as a giant all-consuming monster getting old, it can be beaten in about 5 hours. And if you're sick of being eaten by things in horror games like I always am, then this is the ultimate form of if you can't beat them, join them. Eat all humans and play this game. It's fun and mental. 5 blobs out of 5.